Well, good morning to you all from Belfast. What is going on, everybody, in your world? Leeds United picking up all 3 points last night against the Millwall team, who we were told were going to come up and do the hat-trick. I was being told in my comment section by Millwall fans, you were all going to come up. Leeds were falling apart again, and 380 of you came up, got sent packing back home. And we love it. It's a bit of a weird rivalry, isn't it, Leeds and Millwall? But it is always nice doing them, which we invariably do most of the time. So, overall, important win for Leeds. And as Graham Smith quite rightly said, a blip is very different to a wobble. And it definitely is. And I think Leeds have been categorised in the last however many, maybe weeks, maybe obviously like 7 to 10 days of having a real blip. And a blip seems a lot bigger, in my opinion, than a wobble. So Leeds seem to be back now, you're hoping anyway. It was a completely dominant second half, of which wasn't really, when you're looking at it overall, it was, there was a conversation when Leeds were playing Millwall last time out about Millwall growing into the game as well. So for me, it was really important that Leeds dominated, and from moment one I did think there was a big class difference. As Farker said afterwards, I don't really know what they did. I think they had one attempt on goal, and that was Melee. It was an attempted cross and Melee palmed it wide. In all fairness, he did quite well there, because it looked like it could have gone into the back of the net. But there are 3 things that we can learn from this, everybody, 100%, and get yours in the comment section below. But I have to guide you to one. Leeds linking up with one of our favourites, Football Prizes again, guys. Go and check out Football Prizes, from Radamy bits all the way to your legend bits. The amount of prizes that are available in this one massive prize that they're doing until the end of the season is well worth it. I think the entry fee is something like 30 or 40p. If you don't get involved, you're absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. Get involved in it. Link in the description below. But yeah, massive win, I felt, last night. I wanted to, and we touched on it last night a little bit, but I wanted to touch on it a little bit more. Just the difference and impact that, someone like Joe Rothwell makes. It's so vast, it's so important. And I do think sometimes maybe his defensive qualities are honed in on a little bit too much. I do think in that overall midfielder perspective, coming from a former midfielder, he does everything so well, and he's been part of really big games this season. I was thinking about this morning, Norwich away, where I believe he came on in the 49th minute and him and Tanaka became a partnership. Sunderland away, where him and Tanaka dominated the game. You look at that first part of the Sunderland game, where it was a partnership where Gruev was in there, I believe, with Tanaka, and it just didn't work. It didn't flow. You look at Sheffield United at home with Rothwell and Tanaka in there. They were just absolutely dominant. You go even last night to an important game, a really important game. Rothwell comes in, nothing fazed him. That's the thing. I think Rothwell is a pressure player. I think he can deal with that, and he performs. Nothing really gets to him. He came out afterwards, and I got sent a message from one of my pals in hospitality, and it was just Rothwell up there giving almost a little bit of a speech. And I just thought to myself, he's really taken on this club, and I just love how not only is he taking it on, but the performances are there. Like, I did something with Green King not long ago, and they wanted it was a bit of an unpopular opinion, and I said Joe Rothwell's been the most underrated signing this season. I still believe he has been. No one really talks about him. He's 30 years old. It's not been a blossoming career, in my opinion, from what he could have got when he was under Tony Mowbray at Blackburn, when he was being tipped to be one of the top players, and he was going to go to the Premier League and do demolition jobs. I don't think he's ever really lived up to it, but it's nice to actually see now this season him being played in for me, his best position, which isn't the number 10. It is in that defensive double pivot, and I just think he's been elegant. I think he's been exquisite. I think he's a classy player to watch, and these are players who, especially at Premier League level, it's going to be difficult for Leeds to acquire, because being classy and elegant in the Premier League, as Rothwell knows, is very different to being classy and elegant in the Championship. So, you've got to enjoy watching him, and I absolutely love what he brings to this side, and I think he opens up space. I think he wants the ball in tricky situations, and I actually believe that you get a better Brendan Aronson when Joe Rothwell's in there, because Joe Rothwell drives forward, he takes on a man, thus creating space for Brendan Aronson. I thought in the pockets last night, Aronson was much better. I thought last night Aronson looked a lot more calm, composed, a lot more assured. I think the thing with Brendan is, and we all know this, it's away from home. You know, it's those away from home games. I think at home, he feels a little bit more comfortable. I think away from home is sort of the criticism when it comes to Brendan. I'd love to see those performances increase on the road a little bit. So it feels like he's marshalled out of games a little bit too easily when it comes to that physical, combative side to the game, of which happens to Leeds away from home. We all know this. But I wanted to speak about the overall picture as well with Leeds right now. You know, it's getting to a point now, we're down to single digits, we're still top of the table. You've got the likes of Burnley coming up against Swansea this weekend away from home. I've got a feeling they might get that one done, but you know, you never know. A nice dogged Swansea side, that could help, but we know Burnley have appealed, I believe, against Scott Parker's red card and Egan Riley's red card as well. Is that going to be sort of rescinded by this week? And that would be a shame, because I think the manager not been on the touchline, I do think it's a bit of an impact when you're looking over there. And Egan Riley's been, you know, excellent as part of that Burnley defence. So him being out would be big. So a lot to consider, really. It feels like there's a little bit more injuries on the side of Sheffield United. I think, as Wild has quite rightly said, they're managing players at the minute. They're managing players. You know, when you look at the likes of Gus Harmer, you look at the likes of Vinny Souza, I kind of look at that sort of double in particular, and they're absolutely essential. They're essential for Sheffield United. And Vinny Souza, obviously, with that hamstring injury, might be out for another 2 to 3 weeks. Alongside that, you've got them managing Gus Harmer. I mean, Wilder said it the other day, and you kind of think, wow, how you know, important is that you know, your best player, they have to manage him because of his just ongoing injuries. So, I mean, they've got a very decent side at Championship level. Ryan Brewster has been really impressive recently. He comes in, you know, you've still got Raksaki, who I know has not been great, but still a good player at this level, can produce moments. Andre Brooks, they've got talent going forward. Callum O'Hare. So Sheffield United will be there. We know they're going to be there, and they're not going to lie down, and they do have a ridiculous level of quality at Championship standard. But the things we learned last night is that, for me, I'm looking at the fixtures now, it is single digits, and I look at Leeds going up against now a really tough QPR team who have got a good home record. Once again, it's going to be Portsmouth, for me, type game. Portsmouth, by the way, who lost to Plymouth last night after Plymouth got their only away win of the season. Yes, everybody, that happened. So it's exactly what I was saying. Exactly what I was saying in the build-up. You will not get a same Portsmouth. This is what I always talk about on the channel. Leeds have to increase their level by 10%. Do you know what I mean? If it was Millwall last night going away to Burnley, I mean, they brought, 390 fans to Leeds. They'd have brought probably about 200 fans to Burnley. Do you know what I mean? It's just how it would be. So, for me, Leeds have always got to deal with that. But Plymouth going and beating Portsmouth, and by all accounts doing a really good job down there, you just think to yourself, are you absolutely kidding? So Leeds became the biggest game, obviously, and fair play to them. They won that game, but then they lost at home. As I say, Plymouth's only away win of the season. Absolutely mental. By the way, if any of you are ever in Belfast, come check this place out. My God, what a place. Kelly's Cellars, unbelievable. But yeah, so I don't know. I think, look, the fixtures that we've got left, you look at QPR, and it feels like this is the big one. It feels like this is the big one coming up. And we kind of know it's a bit of a hoodoo, isn't it? So if we get this one done, if we remain top, my goodness, I mean, going into, you know, the return of you know, obviously it's playing Luton, then Bristol City quite, you know, quickly after that, and then obviously we've got an amalgamation of different fixtures in and around that. But it's big. It's a big period for the club. But last night was big, because if they'd have beaten us last night, if we'd have dropped more points, I have to say, everybody, I am confident, but I'd have come on here and been a little bit more tentative, a little bit more worried, just purely because of the teams who normally are so relentless in the rounders, and then I would be worried a little bit about that psychological. But I think it's important now with Leeds that We remain confident. We look at where we've been. We look at what we are. We've been so good this season. We've been so impressive. And Leeds simply have to go to QPR, in my opinion, and win. I think there is going to be a bit of a fight back from Sheffield United and Burnley. It'd be lovely to see them both go through a little bit of a wobble. I don't think that's going to happen. I think every single team will lose games. That's obvious. But I'm not 100% sure it'll be this weekend, especially for Burnley. I've got a feeling, I've still got this feeling in me that Sheffield United are going to go to Sheffield Wednesday and win. But I couldn't believe this, everybody. Sheffield Wednesday are favourites. I couldn't believe that. But I've just got a feeling they'll go. I think both teams will win this weekend, and that's why, once again, it's really important that Leeds get that win. But even if both teams drop points, it's really important. Again, I mean, by the time Sheffield United play, we could be 5 points ahead of them. And for everybody talking about, the unfairness of game week fixtures, it's cyclical. It does turn around, and Leeds having that ability to go 5 points ahead of them is massive. It's absolutely massive. And then the pressure goes on Sheffield United, because then they've got Sheffield Wednesday, which is going to be a massive game, of which we will be doing a watch along on the second channel. So come join me for that one, everybody. But a really good day. And the three things, I wanted to touch on Joe Rothwell. I wanted to touch on the fixture list and single digits, going into the remainder of the season. But I also wanted to talk on the rotation. And I did mention this last night. I do think at some point, I know it was a win last night, I think it's pretty clear that the manager does need to rotate a little bit. As I said last night, I think his stages, Solomon looked a bit leggy, looked a bit rash at points with his shooting. I thought he should have done better with a couple of efforts, by the way. Solomon had about 2 or 3 efforts last night, which, you kind of need him to wrap his foot around that and put it in the back of the net. Leeds had a few chances of which I thought they could have done better. But Dan James in particular just looked knackered. And and I just wonder, I just can't help think that he's just not got a problem, as I say, with Ramazani and Nonto. I don't think he has, but as I say, the lack of minutes Ramazani's got is just mental. So I just don't think he favours him. I think I've mentioned this before, that I think there was a Farker signing when it came to players being brought in. And I think there's been 49ers signing. And I think just in particular, when you have that microcosm of the two players that we keep talking on in terms of Solomon and Ramazani, I think it's obvious who Farker wanted and obvious who the 49ers wanted in. So for me, he has to start rotating a little bit. And for the first time last night, I think we saw Dan James really struggling a little bit with fitness and the endeavour and energy. And the thing is, what a lot of people don't realise, guys, is, I've spoken to footballers before, and I've been told that this is just a constant thing. They pick up injuries from the 5th week and they're playing nursing injuries. So these are all big, big factors, and it looks like Dan James, it might not be nursing an injury, but he's just struggling a little bit with fatigue at the minute. He's got to rotate. He's got to rotate and stop being so stubborn with it. Hopefully Dan's back, fit and firing, but it's not that much of it's not a real quick turnaround. So, as I say, I'm just hoping that Farker does utilise that, because there's still 27 points to play for. Still a long way to go. So let's wait and see. But let me know your 3 things, everybody, in the comment section below. We are back with shows with Brownie and obviously Jim Bob very, very soon. And we've got some exciting things coming in the international break. I love you and leave you. Check out Football Prizes. I'll see you in a bit.